Why aren't more people using this attack strategy? Look at how easy this is to execute. I put down a bat spell to tank the single Inferno and air defense. Also the Tesla farm that I didn't know was there. I pop the Warden ability immediately. Look at that. I spam the Inferno Drags in the smallest line you've ever seen. I put the poison spell on the headhunters just in case the Inferno Drags don't get it. We put a rage spell down to get the eagle and the air bows down here. Notice how I haven't put my blimp down yet though, because if I put the blimp in the warden, I don't think it would have made it to the town hall. I'm delaying it quite a bit. We're putting the skeleton spells down, making sure we freeze that multi-inferno over and over again. The skeleton spells to tank the scatter shot, heroes and monolith, the freeze spells on the multi-infernos. Now I keep freezing. I freeze the defensive queen and the poison tower here. The blimp makes it to the town hall and away we go. We freeze the monolith yet again. Unfortunately, this is really unlucky. Look at this monolith. It is 1 HP and it just refuses to go down. If it went down, I would have smoked this base. Look at how little health it has, and now it's on my queen. Monolith wrecking my queen. I've still got a bunch of Inferno Drags down the bottom. Now Monolith wrecking my RC. Like, this was getting very frustrating. I actually thought I might fail this for a second, but thankfully the Inferno Drags down the bottom and the Diggy come in clutch, and we're going to get away with the triple here. And the real question is, what do you look for when you're using Inferno Skelly spam? A base with 2 single Infernos or more. So this base you saw here, 2 single Infernos, easy triple, right? If it has 2 multis and 1 single, it's possible, but you're going to have to execute it very well and get a little lucky. But if it's got 2 or 3 single Infernos, like a lot of bases do in war these days, then this thing will just roll over the base easily. And if you don't want to use the blimp and instead would rather use a flame flinger, that's possible as well. So I take down the arch tower on the outside of the base. Now you'll notice in this attack, I'm bringing a slightly different army comp. So we've dropped a Dragon Rider to bring a Yeti, and the Yeti is going to tank for this multi-mortar here because we can't let that multi-mortar get on our flame flinger. And the flame flinger is going to be able to clear this entire part of the base, including 2 air defenses. And air defenses are pretty problematic for Inferno Skelly spam attacks, because generally you've got this in terms of your spell comp, so the 4 skeleton spells and 5 freeze spells. You could also drop a skeleton spell and bring a brat spell like I did in the last attack, but the problem with these spells is you're generally using the freeze spells for the town hall, multi-infernos, and you're generally using the skelly spells for the scatter shots, single infernos, and the heroes, but there's no real spell afforded to use on these air defenses. So the air defenses can quite commonly just pick off your Inferno Drags. Now if they're on the outside of the base, that's fine, they generally won't, or they'll go down quickly. But there are some bases with air defenses in the core where if it's got air defenses in the core, you will generally fail this attack strategy unless you invest freezes on it, which doesn't seem like it's worthwhile value, but trust me. Now we're setting up the funnel here, and we're just going to come straight into the back end, and look at the sheer YOLO of this. Look at how far away that town hall is. There's even an invis tower and a poison tower there, but there's 2 single infernos. We've talked about this, and that means this army is basically guaranteed. Yet again, coming in on the back end, we're going straight into the multi-inferno. You actually want to go straight into the problem areas of the base so that your warden ability gets more value. I actually hold on to the warden ability for a second here. We'll pop it right now, and look at that. I still get everything in it, but it's much more effective. Negates the eagle, negates the defensive CC and the queen, and it means you can kind of hang on to your spells whilst the warden ability is going. Now we start putting skeleton spells down to distract the single inferno, because the single inferno can't really do a whole lot in that case. There's our first rage spell, and I'm just going to keep freezing the town hall. Now, because the invis tower is in front of the town hall, I actually kind of want the invis tower to go off, so it goes off here. I deliberately don't freeze it, and instead go for the monolith, and now it's just about freezing over and over, and look at how wrecked this is, right? Even with the poison tower going off here, which is not ideal at all. The poison towers are actually the worst spell tower for this army. Even with the poison tower going off, it doesn't really matter. This is still wrecked. Now, if you're running into a base with 2 poison towers, you can think about bringing a heal spell, but I still wouldn't. Just bring more freezes and overrun the base. And look, this is clapped. Now, in this attack, I've brought a Super Dragon, the CC, and some of them you'll see me bring Mass Loon, some of the time Dragon Rider Loon, this the Super Drag. It's ultimately up to you. All of them work. There's so many different CCs you can use in this, but something's for sure. If there's 2 single Infernos on the base, why wouldn't you use this attack strategy? Now, if you find a base with 3 single Infernos, you are in paradise, and I actually set myself a challenge here. So you see this base, 3 single Infernos. Now, there is a few air bows, all 4 of them are air, actually, which is bad for this army. Obviously, prefer the ground bows, but still, I set myself a challenge here. Swag my Warden ability. Just don't use it. Even if the Warden dies, if the ability goes off, so be it. Try and swag my Warden ability. So we'll slow it down here. But the Flame Thing on the left side, its job's to take down the Eagle. It's set a really nice funnel. My King, Queen down the bottom. And look at this. Because I'm not using my Warden ability with this attack, I do have to use my spells early. You'll notice I'm spamming down these skeleton spells. If I was doing this attack normally, I wouldn't swag my Warden ability and I'd use it immediately, then use the skeleton spells thereafter. But look, we've cleared out a huge chunk of base. We've used all of our skeleton spells. Generally, you'd rather use your skeleton spells sooner and your freeze spells later, because the freeze spells are much better against town halls and spell towers than skeleton spells will ever be. So coming in here, I freeze the scatter. I'm trying to get the scatter and the airbow down, but with only in 2 Inferno Drags, that is quite ambitious. Will it go down? I actually can't remember if it goes down. Yes, it does. So I guess all those freezes were worth it. However, notice that the attack is slowly falling apart here. I'm still hanging on to my Warden ability, which is a little bit crazy. King goes down. The Warden eats a Sam here, unfortunately. So he's lost a lot of his health. And you'll actually see he pops. But that's swagged. Like, the King's in Phoenix mode anyway, so it's not like he was ever going to do much. And now I make a mistake here. Because I don't have any freeze spells left, the RC gets in range of the single Inferno, which is so bad. The poison spell's perfect. It gets rid of the air skeletons and ground skeletons. But yeah, the single Inferno's up. If that was a multi, this is an easy triple. But you see where single Infernos are good. They're really good at stopping heroes in particular. That Sam going off was so unfortunate. This Inferno has 1 HP. Actually 1 HP. I put my Queen ability to get through the wall because we're actually low on time at this point. The Diggy is here. Doesn't matter. We've got the archers. They're going to take down the elixir storage. No. I couldn't believe I failed this. I tried to swag my Warden, and it didn't quite work. Now, I decided to test Inferno Skelly Spam on a pretty common ring base you guys will see, and it has 2 multi-Infernos, which is obviously really, really bad for us. You hate to see those multi-Infernos, and this is how I kind of went about it. I just spammed in on one side. We're going to lose a few Inferno Drags to air defenses, but that's okay. Just spam in. Now, in this one, you come in with the blimp, because you've got to get that town hall down early. We just rage and freeze. 10 balloons are needed here, and that gets the town hall down. And now we're just using our mass freezes on the multi-Infernos and the ground expos, because look, they lock onto my Queen. They actually do a whole lot of damage, but we're still getting through quite nicely here. So yeah, kind of wanted to show you guys this to show that it can work on bases with 2 multi-Infernos, even ring bases. But this is not the desirable army for this style of base. There are better ways to take down bases with 2 multi-Infernos than this. We use our second rage spell here. Going to help us burn through the CC nice and quickly, but it's also going to power our RC into this single Inferno. On reflection, I probably should have used the rage spell way later to deal with the back end of the base. Yeah, no, this rage spell was completely swagged. Okay, I accept that. Probably not the best use of it, but at least my King's still tanking for the RC here on the single. I think my RC would have taken longer to get there if it weren't for the King. RC ability goes off. The King beat through the wall, which is nice for our Queen. Unfortunately, look at this Rage Tower. It would have not resurfaced if it weren't for the stupid sweeper that's shooting at the Inferno Drags. Unfortunately, sweepers are really bad for Inferno Drags because then they're never able to get up to the full damage. And look at this. The Warden switches off the scatter at like the last second, same as the Owl. So this ends up looking a little bit close. I pop my Queen ability here. She's going to get through that defensive RC. She'll get through the scatter, and she will, but she'll barely get through the rest of the base. Now, in case you're wondering how many goes this took to get, because this is an FC, This was my third attempt. The second attempt got really close. The first attempt was terrible. Third attempt, I was able to get it. But as you can tell, it's still not an overkill triple. So my message to you guys is this. If the base has 2 or 3 single Infernos, you have to use this strategy. I mean, there are other ones you can use, but if you really like spam strategies, then this is the best one in the game to use. If there's 2 multi-Infernos, you can use this, but you might be better off using a different air spam strategy. And when it comes down to whether you use the blimp or the flame flinger, if there's awesome flame flinger value, use it. Otherwise, generally use the blimp and get that town hall down nice and early. That's it for this video. Keeping it nice and short. Let me know down in the comments, did you enjoy this? Have you tried this strategy? What do you think of it? And if you want to see more air spam attacks, I'll link some E-Drag videos on the left. We got plenty of OP E-Drag attackers on the channel.